Thru-hike is days of boredom, fatigue, loneliness, and hunger, punctuated by these incredible moments of elation.
Come on! Thank you very much! Love you guys.
Love you too, man.
What kept me moving was definitely the highlights of the trip, and also that northern terminus. I had this vision throughout the entire hike of me finishing that trail and reaching that northern terminus, and I just could keep replaying this in my mind of finishing. And even from the desert section, when it's just like months away, I would picture finishing, and I would just get teary-eyed, and that was the drive. It's like I walked away from so much of my life to be able to be here and to do this, and there's really no way I'm not gonna finish, barring serious injury. I knew I was gonna get there, so it didn't really matter if I was suffering some of the way. It didn't matter to me in the moment. But it's interesting though, the suffering at times takes front and center in my brain, and when people would ask me how the hike's going, I would say, oh, it's really hard, or something like that. Whereas 2 months after trail, when someone asked me that, how was your hike? I have so much more to say. I don't even say it was hard, because I don't barely remember that. I just say it was beautiful. It changed my entire life. It changed my entire value system. It made me a better person, a simpler person, a happier person, a more loving person. It made me appreciate everything that I have in my life, big and small, and all the people. It made me realize that, I have lived a good life, and I have lived my life well, but it also made me realize that I want to change, and I want to be a part of this community, and I want to continue to hike long trails, and I feel like that's my calling. I love the person that I was on trail. I love Magnet. He's the guy I always wish I was my entire life, but I was always too consumed with being self-conscious of what people think of me, or depression, anxiety, and I never was fully that guy. But when I got out on trail, just the relief I felt, just through the endorphins and just removing a lot of the pressure on a person. The trail community is so accepting, no matter what you are, and it just sort of is a freeing feeling of I get to be this person I always wish I could be. And it's crazy that now I come home and it kind of slips back and reverts a little ways. And so I said I would not do another thru-hike when I was out there. I was just, again, because I was just so tired and hungry and lonely all the time. I thought, oh, there's got to be a better way to exist. But now that I get home, it's like I forget a lot of the hard parts, and I just long for these highlights of this trip, and I just feel like I need them. I have to have them. I have to go back out there. Pacific Crest Trail desert section in 2022 with a mid-March start was really epic. I had done that section before, in far harsher conditions, so I know how bad it could be. And I also know why it gets its reputation for being pretty harsh and monotonous, but we nailed it this year. Going in mid-March on not a really wet year, but not a dry year, it was beautiful. It was never too hot, it was never too cold. It really wasn't windy, with the exception of in the actual wind farms around Hikertown and Tehachapi. There was wildflowers everywhere. I got to camp kind of out in the open. I wasn't just hiding from the wind the whole time. It was a really awesome experience and totally changed my perspective of that section of trail. I knew we were going to pay for it in the Sierras because we were going to get a lot of snow. But at the time, I was able to just stay in the moment and just enjoy what we were given. I remember telling my trail family, I promise you this is like as good as you will ever see this desert. This is as awesome as it could possibly be.
That's my big zero.
The desert section for northbounders is a time to meet people and form trail families. I was able to meet some really cool people and form an awesome trail family that has stuck with me even after trail. We're still really tight when we talk all the time. They're some of my favorite people in my life, some of the best people I could have ever asked for to hike with. Even though not all of us stayed together the entire way, especially after the Sierras, there's a lot of separation, people split up, but they all remain my friends, and I was able to finish with 2 people from my original trail family, and I'm so glad that I was able to keep that connection through the whole trail. I used to be a section hiker, and I was always so jealous of that thru-hiking experience. I mean, that's one of the real perks of doing a thru-hike is the relationships that you build. You can't do that doing sections, and you really can't do that doing other shorter trails. It's one of the perks. I mean, you really have to do a thru-hike to get that, and I'm glad that I was able to have that experience. I'll never forget it.
Festivals, really small. Like Croatia, they have beautiful coast. Slovenia, beautiful mountains. Then Bosnia, Serbia.
we saw the desert at its absolute most beautiful time. When we were in Tehachapi, we were talking to some locals and they said, well, it's only been like this for like 2 weeks. And everywhere we went, people were saying, yeah, it's about a 2-week window that you hit where it looks this beautiful. And we tracked that 2-week window from Campo, California, all the way to Kennedy Meadows. We stayed right in that little 2-week wildflower bubble, and it was so amazing.
And then I'm gonna buy egg for the sugar cream. Good one.
Yeah.
What? That's 10 miles. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get us a table, okay?
Like coffee scenes and fighting scenes. So Bruce Lee started to talk shit to Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt is like he just punched him a few times and Bruce Lee is like, oh.
Morning.
Oh my God, if I had a dollar.
I had $1 for every time we said Kennedy Meadows.
All right, everyone get in there.
I messaged you. Let's go. Everything I thought.
Morning.
And more. Good morning. Oh, that looks so good.
After waiting out a series of storms, we started into the Sierras on May 1st. I am no mountaineer, but I had prepared myself somewhat for some mountaineering as we went through. We knew it was a little bit of a below average snow year, a little below average, but still that we knew there was a lot of snow and ice in there, especially in the passes. So we had axes, I had crampons. We went in, it was a pretty large crew. The altitude was hard. That's something I didn't really expect. When you're going from like the desert averaging 5,000-6,000 feet, and within 2 days you're on top of Whitney at 14,500, and then kind of cruising altitude around 11,000-12,000 feet for like a week or more, and then it drops, but you're still high. Just exerting at all at that altitude took me a while. It took me like 2 weeks probably before I was able to actually function somewhat normally at that altitude. Of course, by then you're more than halfway through the Sierras.
The sunrise.
The Sierras were so epically beautiful, especially the area around Mount Whitney, from about Crabtree Meadows and Mount Whitney through Forester Pass, was some of the most amazing epic terrain I'd ever seen in my entire life. Early season in the Sierras is a trip. There's no one else in there except northbound thru-hikers. So we pretty much have the place completely to ourselves, and what an amazing wilderness to have with such solitude. Well, the rhythm of life for us, with the amount of snow and ice, basically one pass a day. We would camp as low and as close to the next pass as we could while staying below snow line, so that we could hit the passes early in the morning while the snow is still firm to reduce post-holing. One pass a day, but every pass is a reason to celebrate. Every pass, when it's covered in snow, is intimidating and hard. And every time we get to the top of a pass, we get to celebrate and have this camaraderie. And then the next day it's the same, and the next day it's the same. And I sort of got addicted to this way of living where you celebrate every single day, because there's something to celebrate every single day. So you didn't die and you made it. And so it sort of spoils you for somewhat for the rest of the hike, but also just for life in general.
Power it!
Just about to South Lake Tahoe, 1 mile from Highway 50. We will hitch into South Lake Tahoe. The end of the Sierras, my Sierra map, is over in less than 3 miles. We did it.
We're having so much fun. Bonus miles, baby.
Bonus miles. It was kind of an unusual weather year in that the spring never really happened. It went straight into summer, and so the winter storms were continuing to line up on us all the way into, well into June, to like mid-June or something. So the snow never really had a chance to melt. In fact, storms were continuing to come in through at least the first half of Northern California. So the change from the Sierra to to NorCal was muted for us, definitely. It still felt like the Sierras for a long, long ways. And we were still dealing with the same types of problems. The NorCal blues, it's real. I have theories on it, but it happened to me in a really big way. I think that there's a certain letdown after coming out of the Sierras where you're celebrating every single day. There's such highs, and you kind of come in below tree line again, and it's quite a bit more monotony. Trail families start to break up, so this tight-knit group that we had of 9 people in the Sierras ended up to 0. Actually, I hiked quite a bit of NorCal by myself, so there's that letdown as well. There's also, in Northern Cal, is the halfway point, and when I hit the halfway point, I felt like I had pretty much done a full through hike at that point. Like, I feel like I had changed, I had sorted out a lot of my issues in my mind. I felt like I'd been on trail for a crazy long time. I was missing home, I was missing people, and to hit the halfway mark and realize you still have months to go is a really defeating feeling, and I think it hits a lot of people. Also, the trail itself it really doesn't head north for a huge chunk of it. Actually heads west. There's a section right around Bernie Falls in it, and it takes off. It goes like 130 miles west, and it never moves north for 130 miles. And I think that feeling of like, I need to get north, and you're not moving north is really defeating. Towards the Oregon border, Northern California gets pretty epic. Once you cross I-5 at Castle Crags, that section back up to Ashland is really cool. It's the best of Northern Cal, I thought. So you kind of lift your spirits once you start getting closer to the Oregon border. I knew once I got to Oregon, my life was going to be a lot different. I was going to be able to see my dogs and see my wife and see friends. So reaching Oregon was a huge draw for me, and to hit that marker, it meant something extra special to me. It meant I was home.
Woo! Congrats! Welcome.
Thank you, man.
Oregon.
I'm home.
entered Oregon on July 3rd. For most northbounders, that's really early. And again, that was just a result of us starting so early, busting through the Sierra so early, doing big miles in NorCal. But to start that early into Oregon was quite a luxury because most hikers have to rush their way through Oregon. So they're trying to make up time or get in front of the fires, or they have a visa and they have to get out of the country or whatever. I did not have any of those issues. I was more trying to milk time because the Northwest had a really high snow year. And so I was kept hearing reports of like masses of snow up in northern Oregon and Washington. So I was able to just chill my way through Oregon, party my way through Oregon, really. I got to reunite with a lot of people from my trail family in Oregon, and we just had a really, really good time. We still did big mile days, but just took a lot of time off and had a lot of fun in all the towns. I went home. I live in Bend, so I was home, and I got to go home actually twice. Once after Crater Lake, once with my trail family at San Am, and I hosted them, and we just had a really good time barbecuing and drinking, and it was fun. It was fun all the way through Oregon for me.
Don't we stand it up? Where's the peace sign? Remember the peace sign? Yeah.
One, two, three.
Sweet.
We skipped the Mount Jefferson section. The Lion's Head fire closure had not opened yet for us. I live in Oregon, so I knew I'd have no trouble coming back and doing it later. So I came back and did it in September.
How do we get there?
Left.
Left, yeah, okay.
I definitely started Washington with the mindset that I did not want this trail to end. I knew I was living the dream and I did not want to wake up. That was my thinking at the beginning of Washington. I know a lot of people in my trail family were like, let's go, I want to get done, I want to get home. And I got that later in Washington, but I did not start Washington that way.
Overall got some sort of $45 million settlement.
Wow.
To everyone.
And the bonus, sort of the part of the fiasco of it, was partly because his lawyers messed up so bad and like sent evidence.
It was our second night in Washington when we got an in-reach message from Spanx's mom, and it said that fires had broken out all over the trail and causing major closures in Northern California and Southern Oregon. So we were already a whole state in front of that when it happened. That was the first night we could finally see some smoke in the air, and so we knew things were getting real. We later found out that a bunch of people had skipped big sections of the trail. A bunch of people had skipped all of Oregon, from Northern Cal all the way to the start of Washington, and so we kept hearing reports about a week behind us there was this massive bubble, like Trout Lake was just overflowing with hikers. So then set in this little panic, like, okay, we have to keep moving. we're 5 to 7 days in front of like hundreds and hundreds of hikers that are going to clog up everything. So let's keep moving swiftly, because we got to stay in front of that. In the second half of Washington, I definitely started to hit a lot of burnout. I didn't really expect that, because Washington is so beautiful and we're getting so close to the end. I thought I'd just be full of adrenaline and endorphins, just going and just loving it, but it didn't really work out that way. I definitely hit quite a bit of burnout, and I have no idea why. Just maybe the length of time that we were out there, and the trail in Washington also is pretty hard. There's a lot of elevation change. So I don't know, I definitely hit some burnout, and it wasn't until like the last probably 5 days to the terminus that the adrenaline of just the finish started to kick in, and it kind of overrode any pain and fatigue and boredom and that I was feeling. I started to just feel this pull of the terminus, and it was just overtaking everything. Any negative thought would just be drowned out. I just have to finish. I just have to finish.
I'm not scared about it.
My favorite part of the entire trail was northern Washington, the northern half, and specifically the Glacier Peak Wilderness was my favorite part of the trail. Some of that could have been just the timing, because we hit it at peak wildflower bloom, so it was at its peak of beauty. It was just mesmerizing. I know a lot of people think the Sierras is the best, but obviously the conditions that we went through in the Sierras, it was not at its best or most ideal time. We never got to swim in lakes, never saw a single flower. It was just brown, snowy, muddy, frozen. It was just not, the typical postcard experience. So, but we got the postcard experience up in northern Washington. So I couldn't believe it. Like, I think it was like some of the most beautiful scenery I've ever seen.
Returning from the dust. I've been losing sleep, spinning all my thoughts around you. Seems you have my
There was fear that something would happen and I wasn't going to be able to finish. I remember telling Spanx, she's like, take your time, let's hang out. And I'm like, no. I need to touch that terminus, because something could happen. You don't know. I could get injured. There could be fires. I don't know. I just need to touch it. I need to seal the deal, and then I can relax. But I can't relax before that. Interestingly enough, some of you know the story, like a week after we finished, or maybe not even a week, 5 days after we finished, fires did break out at the northern terminus, and the trail did close. And I don't even know, at least half the class, more than half the class of 22 did not get to go to the terminus. So my fears were real. About a month after I got home off trail, I was having a trail dream, and it was one of those rare trail dreams, or any dream, where I realized during the dream that I was dreaming. I always love those, because it's like a free pass. You could do anything that you want. But we were in South Lake Tahoe, in somebody's backyard, and having a barbecue, and a bunch of hikers were there, and my trail family was there. And at some point during this barbecue, in the dream, I realized that this was a dream, and I realized that the hike is over, and everybody's gone on with their lives, and the whole trail family is broke up, and it's over, and it's done. And here I have this moment where we're back on the trail all together, and I went and gathered my trail family together, and they were staring at me. I said, cherish this, you guys. You have no idea what this is going to mean to you. The hike's over, and I'm dreaming, and we've all gone home, and I just want you guys to know that although it's hard and you're tired and stuff, but cherish this. Cherish this moment in your lives. Ooh, whoop. Woo! Oh, so awesome! I can't believe
Money don't come easy. Most of us are chained to being busy till we can earn a little peace of mind.
I got my Ranger badge.
for helping to.
What does it mean to be free in this American dream? Oh, help me believe life is more than what we've been told it's supposed to be.
That's huge.
Did you just clear the fridge?
Why? Because I
La la let, la la let me be. La la let, la la let me be. La la let me be free. La la let me be. La la let me be. La la let me be free. And it's such a mystery. We're still repeating our histories, even with the warning sign. Please help me out. Frustrated that this is the selfish world that we've been given. Oh, can we try and help each other out?